All right, so step 8 is the timeline. And I feel like, there's triggers in this. So, when you're going from step 4 to step 5, you know that when you're done with the walkthrough, that's your trigger to ask for the additional 10 or 15 minutes for the kitchen table. You know that once you go through your walkthrough preview of the pros and the cons, that's your trigger to have the timeline conversation. So that's when I just come with a question. I say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, have you considered the time frame or the timeline for how long you're going to try to sell this on your own before you look to interview a professional agent like me? And I'm telling you, 9 times out of 10, maybe even more, they've thought about it. They know it's 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever.
Well, I think it's shifting the whole trajectory of the conversation from personal to business. I've given you all these things. Now I'm going to shift it into a little bit, deposit, withdrawal. I'm going to ask you, how long are we talking? What's our timeline? You don't have to ask it in a mean way. You don't have to say when you fail. You can just say, how long have you thought about it?
Yeah, you could even say, listen, I think you're wise to try to do this on your own. I mean, this makes perfect sense. But in the event that you're not successful, like how long are you going to go before you look to interview an agent like me who's full-time and a great marketer? Maybe stick in a little plug there for yourself. Right. And you'll be you'll be gifted with this answer. It's like, well, we're going to give it a couple months. That's typical. Right here. We're going to give it a couple months.
But at least you've earned probably an interview at that point. Just by asking that question, you probably earned an interview.
Yeah.
Just by asking it.
So once they give you that response and they tell you we're gonna give it a couple months, then you validate that. Great, wise, get it, whatever you want to say, totally makes sense. But I tell you what, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, what I would like to do, what this 2 months gives me, is several weeks to earn a seat at that table.
Right.
Like if I can show you all these things I can do to help you market and sell this property within those 2 months, do you think I might earn a seat at the table, be part of that conversation, be one of the 3 agents that you interview? Makes sense to me, right?
Yeah. It's good too, because you didn't even just say, just me. You said, I've earned the opportunity to be one of the 3.
But we know the research tells us that most of these folks are going to hire the first real estate agent that makes the connection.
Because you kept it humble with being thorough.
Yep.
Push, but not pushy. It works.
All right. So now as our trigger, when we go into step 9, we're going to start to lay out our value propositions.
And this is big.
Yep, it's going to be huge. So stay tuned.